Hello, grade 8 students. How are you? Hope you're doing well. I am Mrs. Maysam Al-Masri, your physics teacher, and we're going to start by chapter 1, motion. Here in slide 2 appears the chapter's objectives. Today we're going to take the first two objectives. The first one, differentiate between object in motion and object at rest. We're going to see today how to differentiate between an object at rest and an object in motion. And the second objective is we want to define something called a reference frame, and it's a new word to us. So first, let's start by the word motion. Motion, when you think about it, you think that it's the change of place or position. So when we change our place or our position, then you say that the object seems to be in motion. Okay, so in order to understand the concept, let us first explain the meaning of the reference frame. It's defined down here. You can see the definition of the reference frame. It's a point or an object where motion is studied relative to it. Example, tree, ground, sun, earth. So, a reference frame is an object or a point that we choose and we study the motion of another object with respect to it. For example, we can take the tree as a reference frame, or we can take the ground as a reference. So, what do we mean by this? For example, I want to see if the object is at rest or in motion. We study the motion of this object with respect to a reference frame. Reference frame يعني بالنسبة لشيء بالنسبة لمرجع. And for example, if I want to describe my motion with respect to the ground, here I took the ground as a reference frame and I am the object. I look if the position between me and the ground is it changing. If I'm walking on the ground and my position with respect to the ground is changing, I appear to be in motion with respect to the ground. While if I'm standing on the ground and there is no change in position between me and the ground, I am at rest with respect to the ground. Then you say, oh, it's easy. Then at rest means you're sitting and in motion means that you are moving. But no. Let's see how. This depends on the reference frame that we choose. For example, let's take example A here. The title of application 1, motion is relative. So let's take example A. Here we have a driver in a car and he's driving the car. So the car is moving in this direction. First, the driver was in position 1. X1 means position 1. Because he is driving the car, he reached to another position, X2, position 2. So now we're going to choose a reference frame for the driver. We'll take the driver as an object. This driver, we're going to study his motion. To study or describe his motion, we want to say if he is at rest or he is in motion. Let's choose a reference for him. I'm going to choose the tree as a reference frame. Now the tree is a reference. And the object is the driver. So here, the object is coming closer to the tree. So his position is changing with respect to the tree. He's in a car and he's driving it. He's coming closer to the tree. So the object is the driver. The reference frame is the tree. The position between them is changing. Then the driver is considered in motion with respect to the tree. So here, what's written here is the driver is in motion with respect to the tree. We took here the driver as an object to study his motion and the tree as a reference. Why we said he is in motion? Because the position between the driver and the tree is changing. Now let us change the reference frame. We will take another example B. Here, example B, another example. It's the same, but we want to change now the reference frame. Let's take the reference frame now, the car seat. So the object is the driver, but we want now to describe his motion with respect to the seat. He's driving his car, he's moving on the road. So now the position 1 was here is position 2. But now the object is the driver and the reference frame is his seat. The position between the driver and the seat is not changing because the driver and the car are moving together. So, between the driver and the car seat, the position isn't changing because he's moving with his seat. Then the driver is at rest with respect to his seat because the position between them isn't changing. So, the same driver with the same example appeared to be at rest and in motion at the same time. In example 2, he's at rest, and in example A, he was in motion at the same time when we changed his reference frame. So, the motion depends on the reference frame that we choose. When we chose the tree as a reference frame, the driver appeared to be in motion. When we chose his car seat as a reference frame, the driver appeared to be at rest. So, motion is relative. Motion is relative means that the same object can appear at rest and in motion at the same time. And this depends on the reference frame that we choose.